Nadia Salama?
Yes, Kirsty.
Yes, I'm a social worker. Did you have any trouble getting here?
No, I've been here before.
No, it can be a bit hard to find, that's all. Let's go in.
Mrs. Sutton.
Hello. Please take a seat.
I'm just listening.
My name's Kirsty Richards. I'm a social worker with a sexual assault service. We provide services for victims of sexual assault. How do you want me to do this? Do you want me to stop at the end of each phrase or sentence or what?
I'll do whatever you want me to. I can interpret simultaneously or consecutively. It's up to you, whichever you prefer.
What's the difference?
Simultaneous means I'm about half a sentence behind you. Consecutive means I'll wait till you finish a sentence, you pause, and then I interpret. It's best if you can keep your sentences short and clear because I can't remember entire passages.
You do whatever you think's best and stop me if you've got a problem, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not used to working as an interpreter. Okay, let's start again. I'm a social worker with the sexual assault service. My job is to talk to women who've been sexually assaulted. I'm here to find out what you want or need. Everything that you say will remain with me forever. Now, do you know where you are? Oh, sorry, I forgot to introduce Nadia. This is Nadia Salama, who will be interpreting for us today.
Hello.
Can you ask her the question?
Can you repeat the question?
Ask her as soon as you finish.
هل تعرفين أين أنت؟
This won't do. It's a great example of how not to do it. Nadia's confused, Fatma's distressed, and your counselling skills are not being utilised. Why didn't you brief Nadia before the interview? Even though it's in another language, it's still your interview, and you should be in control. Okay? Relax for a minute, and we'll do it again. It worked out quite well. We ended up doing it simply, in segments, with graphics running across the screen.
I'm nervous.
There's no need to be. You're fine. Let's have a look.
Hi, my name is Kirsty Richards. I'm a social worker. You must be Nadia Salama.
Yes.
Do you mind if I call you by your first name?
First name is fine.
Is that usually your culture to call someone you just met by the first name?
It depends. It's usually for people of the same age.
Good. Well, let's go in. Now, we'll be seeing a 25-year-old woman, Fatma Abdullah, who's a police being over now. We don't have a lot of background information, but we believe she was assaulted by an uncle. Have you interpreted in a sexual assault case before?
Yes, a couple of times.
So you probably know that our philosophy is to give back as much control and power to the victim as possible.
Yes.
What I'd like to do in this interview is start by talking about her feelings and acknowledging whatever they may be. It's possible she'll be in a state of shock or very distressed. She may be going through a whole range of emotions, or she may feel numb. I'd like to tell her about the medical help and legal options available and support her in whatever she chooses.
I understand.
Now, it would help me if I had more of an understanding of your culture. What's your opinion about what sexual assault would mean to someone who's Palestinian?
What I tell you would be subjective. It all depends, of course, on the individual and the family. For example, how long they've been out here, whether they had a rural or urban background, their religious beliefs, education, class, their exposure to other communities, etc. But within my community, virginity is still considered very important for a girl. As a girl will known to be sexually assaulted, it may affect her marriage prospects and how the family is seen within the community.
You mean the family is considered responsible if a girl is assaulted?
They may be, and they could be ostracized by the community.
So it would obviously be very difficult to talk about because of the enormous implications.
Yes, but as I say, it depends on how long her experience.
I always mention it, but I'll need to stress the fact that what I said is absolutely confidential.
Of course, it's important.
I prefer simultaneous interpreting. Are you comfortable with that?
Let's start off with simultaneous, and if the client finds it uncomfortable, I'll revert to consecutive.
Good. When Fatma arrives, I'll introduce us and explain our roles so we can get straight into it. The purpose of the pre-interview session is to brief the interpreter about the case, to establish the objectives for the interview, to glean cultural background information from the interpreter, and to establish the mode of interpreting.
Good. Now for the interview. But first, let's have a look at your earlier attempt.
Mrs. Fatma,
Hello.
please have a case.
My name's Kirsty Whitfield. I'm a social worker with sexual assault group. We provide services to victims of sexual assault. How do you want me to do this? Do you want me to stop at the end of each phrase or something or what? Yeah, very confusing when you don't have a clear approach.
Don't worry. I'll show you a good one.
Okay. Fatma?
See the difference? You arrange the chairs to facilitate communication between the client and yourself, with the interpreter sitting close to the client, but a little bit back.
I'm Kirsty Whitfield. I'm a social worker with a sexual assault group. I'm Mrs. Lama. Nadia will be interpreting for this. Have you ever had to use an interpreter before?
No.
It's not easy the first time, but just try and pretend we have the same language. I'll speak directly to you, and after a while you can understand the direction here. Nadia's interpreting simultaneously at the moment. Do you feel comfortable with that? I know it can sound peculiar sometimes hearing two voices at the same time. While we're talking at the speed, we'll introduce Nadia to some tasks. But if for any reason you want to speak more quickly, it might become difficult for Nadia. So, do you mind if I stop you for a second?
No, it's okay.
Nadia will be interpreting everything I say to you and everything you say to me. If there's anything you don't understand, please tell me so there won't be any misunderstanding. Let me assure you that both Nadia and I are bound by a code of ethics, so that everything that is said with me here is absolutely confidential.
I understand. I was worried about that.
Now, before we begin, is there anything you'd like to know about me? In the interview, introduce everyone and establish roles. Arrange speaking to facilitate communication between yourself and the client. Establish ground rules speaking through the interpreter to the client. Maintain eye contact with the client if culturally appropriate. Use the first person. Speak slowly and clearly but naturally. Avoid driving.
We've got some real bloopers here.
They're good examples of what not to do. I think this will be the kind of bucket list. It's triggering. It's really tricky.
See how easy it is to exclude the client before you begin by joking in front of her. You like that?
I mean, later, isn't it? I'm Christy, that she's found the social worker, and this is Isabel Gonzalez, the interpreter. Miriam López, ¿verdad? Quinto Richard, asistente social, e Isabel González, la intérprete. ¿Would you mind coming with us into the interview room? ¿Y si va a pasar con nosotros a la entrevista? Can you ask me where she comes from? ¿De dónde viene? ¿De dónde del Salvador? ¿Usted qué dónde viene? De Lima, Perú. De Lima. ¿Y tengo amigos en Cristo? ¿Conoce? ¿Cómo no voy a conocerlo si estuve ahí cuando era pequeña? What's going on? What's she saying? She comes from El Salvador. It's just a bit difficult for me to have an interview when I don't know what's going on. You guys are being polite enough to respond. Yo no entiendo para qué me han traído aquí. Para ayudarla. ¿Para ayudarme? ¿Pero cómo puedo ayudarme a ella? What's happening now? She says she doesn't know what she's being brought here. Pero usted viene de Sudamérica. Tiene que entender. Yo no le puedo decir a ella lo que me pasa. Es muy difícil para mí. Mire, yo no la conozco. Ella ni siquiera sabe mi idioma. ¿Cómo le voy a decir a ella? No puedo. No puedo. I felt excluded and inadequate.
Like Maria when she was in the waiting room. She fell into the trap of talking in the third person. That is, talking to the interpreter and not through her.
I thought that was Where do you come from, Maria? ¿De dónde viene María? Yo vengo del Salvador. ¿Y usted de dónde viene? De Lima, Perú. ¿De Lima? Yo tengo amigos en Cusco. ¿Conoce? ¿Cómo no voy a conocerlos si estuve desde pequeño? What you say? Yes, he comes from El Salvador. You'll remember at the beginning of the session I said that everything will be interpreted. I've just been explaining to Isabel the importance of interpreting everything. Recién estaba explicando a Isabel lo importante que es que me interprete todo lo que se diga. If it's something you don't understand, ask me through Isabel. I'm happy to be interrupted. Si cualquier cosa que no entiende, pregúntame a través de Isabel. No importa que me interrumpa. Okay. Where are you living in Sydney? ¿Dónde vive aquí en Sydney? In Manatee. In Manatee. Are you living with your family? ¿Vives con tu familia? Sí, con mi esposa. Yes, with my husband. And maintaining control.
Because you didn't give it up. And when it looked like it was slipping away, you stopped the interview and restated the ground rules.
An interpreter to be the eyewitness of fact that just interpret everything that is being said.
That's right.
Here's one that wasn't a blooper. Was it a difficult decision for you to come here today?
Cái điểm đến đây ngày hôm nay chị thấy có khó không? Tôi lo quá hả? I'm very worried.
You feel what's wrong?
Chị có thể cho tôi biết điều gì làm chị lo không? Tôi không thể nói ra được hết.
I can't tell anyone. Sounds like it's really hard for you to talk about.
Hình như vấn đề này rất khó nói. Tôi sợ làm buồn lòng gia đình tôi.
I'm scared about upsetting my family. How would your family be upset if you talked about it?
Gia đình chị sẽ buồn như thế nào nếu chị bàn đến vấn đề này? Tôi sẽ bị mất vinh dự.
Don't be dishonest. So one of the things you're worried about is that what's happened will dishonor your family.
Thay ra một mối lo khác là những việc xảy đến với chị sẽ làm mất danh dự của gia đình của chị. Tôi không thể nói với ai được hết.
I can't tell anyone.
Tại vì tôi đã bị hư rồi. Nếu mà tôi không khi nào lấy lập gia đình được đó hết.
I have been damaged and I won't be able to marry. From what you're saying, I understand you're worried about your family finding out about what's happened.
Theo những gì chị nói thì chị sợ rằng gia đình chị sẽ biết những chuyện gì đã xảy đến cho chị.
And you're concerned about how this could affect your future.
Và chị ngại rằng chuyện này sẽ ảnh hưởng đến tương lai của chị. Không thấy nhìn mặt ai nữa. I can't face anyone.
Only those people you choose to tell need know.
Chỉ những người nào chị cho biết thì mới biết mà thôi.
I'll see you next weekend.
Tôi sẽ hẹn gặp chị tuần sau vậy.
Good night.
Thank you. Excuse me, will I be able to use this phone to ring the booking office to see when the next appointment is?
That's fine. There's a phone in the next room.
Thank you.
These situations can be very stressful to work under. Are you feeling all right?
Yes, I'm okay. It hasn't hit me yet, so it's probably will tonight. The poor thing. She'd be embarrassed if we ran into each other. I hope that doesn't happen.
What does your service say about what you should do in that situation?
I'd leave it up to her to recognise me.
Is there anything I might have missed on that you picked up on in the interview?
No, I don't think so.
As you know, I've asked Twee to come and see me again, and I'd like you to come and interpret for us to maintain continuity.
Of course, all you have to do is ask me by name when you ring the interpreter service for a booking.
Okay. Thank you very much. You were very good. So good I even forgot you were there for a while.
Thank you, that's how it should be.
The purpose of the post-interview session is to debrief the interpreter and to give the interpreter the opportunity to vent any feelings that may have come up for them in the interview. There's a lot to learn, isn't there?
Yes, we've left out a lot too.
Like what?
Cross-cultural counselling, for example. The fact that in the video all the interpreters are professionals.
Well, what's wrong with using someone who speaks the same language, like a relative or friend?
Just because someone speaks the language doesn't mean they're trained to interpret, and they're not bound by a code of ethics. And in this particular area, it's especially important.
So you should always use a professional.
Yes.
The purpose of the pre-interview session is to brief the interpreter about the case, to establish the objectives for the interview, to glean cultural information from the interpreter, and to establish the mode of interpreting. In the interview, establish roles, arrange seating to facilitate communication between the client and yourself, establish ground rules speaking through the interpreter to the client, maintain eye contact with the client if culturally appropriate, use the first person, speak slowly and clearly but naturally, avoid jargon. If control slips in the interview, stop it straight away and restate the ground rules. Summarise what's being said periodically throughout the interview. With consecutive interpreting, use short sentences. The purpose of the post-interview session is to debrief the interpreter and to give the interpreter the opportunity to vent any feelings that may have come up for them in the interview.